Every time you open your mouth to explain yourself, you are confessing. You are not clarifying. You are not building a bridge. You are handing over your sword. To explain is to plead. To justify is to submit. To defend is to lose. You think you are being reasonable, but in the hidden hierarchy of power, you are begging for permission to exist. 500 years ago, Niccolo Machiavelli revealed the architecture of authority. He knew that the ruler who explains his decree is no longer a ruler. He is a defendant, and the world is his judge. If you are tired of your words sounding like apologies, if you are sick of your decisions being treated as suggestions, if you want to stop losing arguments before they even begin, then you must learn the authority code. This is the end of your life as a defendant. This is the beginning of your reign as a sovereign. By the end of this video, you will understand why silence is the loudest sound in the room. You will learn the 7 ruthless laws of non-explanation, and you will gain the terrifying power of the man who never excuses himself. Lock this truth into your mind right now. Drop it in the comments. My actions are my only explanation. Let's diagnose the sickness. Let's call it what it is. The defendant syndrome. It is a psychological virus. It convinces you that you are always on trial. Every decision you make, every boundary you set, every preference you have, is a crime that requires a defense attorney. And that attorney is you. You walk into a room. You make a choice. And immediately, you feel a hot, suffocating pressure in your chest. The need to justify. I did this because. I can't come because. The reason I think this is. You are vomiting words. You are laying out your logic, your feelings, your entire internal process. Why? Because you are terrified of being misunderstood. You are terrified that if they don't understand why you did it, they won't approve of you. This is not communication. This is submission. When you explain yourself to someone, you are implicitly granting them a higher status. You are saying, you are the judge. You have the authority to evaluate my reasons. If my reasons are not good enough for you, then my decision is invalid. You have voluntarily placed yourself beneath them, and you wonder why they don't respect you. Machiavelli wrote, "It is not titles that honor men, but men that honor titles." You are dictionarying your own title. You are the king of your own life. But you are acting like a peasant begging the court for a scrap of bread. The powerful man does not seek to be understood. He seeks to be effective. The powerful man does not ask for validation. He creates reality. The defendant syndrome makes you transparent. It makes you weak. It makes you boring. And most dangerously, it gives your enemies the ammunition they need to destroy you. Today, we close the court. The trial is over. The verdict is in. You are guilty of nothing but your own power. Here are the 7 ruthless laws of the authority code. These are the pillars of your new reality. Master them, and you will never feel the need to apologize for your existence again. Law number 1, the status gap. Power is physics. It flows from high status to low status, and the flow of explanation always goes up. Children explain themselves to parents. Employees explain themselves to bosses. Citizens explain themselves to the police. The subordinate explains to the superior. The average person's mistake. You explain yourself to your peers. You explain yourself to your subordinates. You explain yourself to your partner. You explain yourself to strangers on the internet. You believe this makes you relatable. You believe it makes you fair. What it actually does is collapse your status. The dark psychology. When you explain, you are validating the other person's right to question you. You are telling them that their doubt is more important than your conviction. You are leveling the playing field, and then digging a hole for yourself to stand in. The Machiavellian counter-move. You must reverse the flow. The sovereign does not explain. The sovereign declares. The technique. Stop using the word because. Because is the bridge between your decision and their judgment. Burn the bridge. Weak response. I can't make it to the dinner tonight because I have a lot of work to catch up on, and I'm really tired, and I promised myself I'd get this done. You are asking them to validate your fatigue. They can now argue, but you can work tomorrow. Sovereign response. I won't be at the dinner tonight. Silence. There is no because. There is only the fact. Weak response. I decided to invest in this stock because the market indicators suggest. You are inviting them to debate your logic. Sovereign response. I am taking this position. Your action is the statement. This creates a status gap. By refusing to provide a reason, you are subtly communicating. My judgment is sufficient. I do not require your sign-off. It forces the other person to accept your decision as a law of nature. Gravity does not explain why it pulls you down. It just does. Be gravity. Law number 2, the ammunition trap. Every reason you give is a weapon you hand to your enemy. This is the most dangerous tactical error of the explainer. The average person's mistake. You provide 3 reasons for your decision. You think this makes your case stronger. I can't help you move because 1. My back hurts. 2. I have a meeting. 3. My car is in the shop. You think you are building a fortress of logic. You are actually building a target range. The dark psychology. The manipulator does not care about your decision. They care about finding the weak link in your reasoning. If you give them 3 reasons, they only need to defeat one to destroy your no. They will ignore your back pain. They will ignore your meeting. They will say, oh, don't worry about your car. I'll come pick you up. You are now trapped. You gave a reason. They solved the reason. Now, if you still say no, you look like a liar or a jerk. You have cornered yourself with your own explanation. The Machiavellian countermove. Give them nothing to shoot at. The black box defense. If you give 0 reasons, they have 0 arguments. You cannot argue with a void. You cannot debate a blank wall. The technique. Them, why can't you do it? The defendant, well, the timing is bad, and trap open. The sovereign, it doesn't work for me. End of list. Them, but why? The sovereign, it's simply not possible. You are repeating the fact, not adding a reason. Them, that's not a good enough reason. The sovereign, it is the only answer I have. This is infuriating to a manipulator. They are reaching for a handle to grab onto, and you are a smooth sphere of steel. They will slip. They will fall, and you will remain unmoved. Machiavelli taught that a prince must be unpredictable. When you explain your logic, you become predictable. When you withhold your logic, you become a force they cannot calculate. Law number 3, the mystery of competence. There is a direct link between how much you talk and how competent you appear. Incompetent people talk a lot. They talk to cover up their insecurity. They talk to convince themselves. Competent people act. The average person's mistake. You have a great idea. You pitch it. And then, you keep talking. You explain the nuances. You explain the backup plan. You explain the risks. You talk past the sale. You talk until you have introduced doubt where there was none. The dark psychology. Oversharing signals anxiety. Anxiety signals incompetence. If you were truly confident in your decision, you wouldn't feel the need to sell it so hard. Your desperation to be understood is interpreted as a lack of conviction. The Machiavellian countermove. The Oracle Protocol. Speak only the conclusion. Hide the calculation. Think of a doctor. A surgeon does not explain to you every step of the procedure, every nerve he might cut, every risk he is weighing. He says, "We need to operate. I will see you in the recovery room." His authority comes from his brevity. He knows. You trust. The technique. When you present a plan, state the outcome. We are going in this direction. Then stop. Do not say, "I think this is best because X, Y, and Z, although I know there are risks." Just say, "This is the path." Let them wonder how you arrived there. Let them marvel at your certainty. The less they know about your process, the more they will respect your result. Machiavelli wrote, "Everyone sees what you appear to be, few experience what you really are." Appear to be a man of absolute certainty. Hide the doubts. Hide the workings. Show only the finished product of your will. Law number 4, the emotional contagion. Explanations are rarely just logical. They are emotional. When you explain, you are usually leaking anxiety, guilt, or fear. And emotions are contagious. The average person's mistake. You feel guilty about setting a boundary. So you offer a long, apologetic explanation. "I'm so sorry, I really wish I could, I feel terrible about this, but..." You think this makes you look nice. It makes you look unstable. And more importantly, it transfers your anxiety to the other person. They feel your guilt. They feel your hesitation. And they instinctively lose respect for you. They smell blood in the water. The dark psychology. People look to the leader to know how to feel. If the leader is anxious about a decision, the tribe panics. If the leader is apologetic, the tribe feels wronged. If the leader is calm, the tribe feels safe. Your over-explanation is a signal flare that says, "I am not comfortable with this decision." And if you aren't comfortable, why should they be? The Machiavellian countermove. The emotional firewall. Your decision must be delivered with absolute emotional neutrality. Zero guilt. Zero anxiety. Zero anger. The technique. State the boundary as if you are reading the weather report. "It is raining today. I am not lending money." Same tone. Same emotional weight. When you remove the emotion from your decision, you remove the hooks they can use to manipulate you. They cannot guilt you if you show no guilt. They cannot argue with you if you show no anger. They hit a wall of calm. This calmness is terrifying to a manipulator. It suggests that you are operating on a level of self-control they cannot comprehend. It suggests that you are untouchable. Law number 5, the burden of proof. In a courtroom, the defendant has the burden of proof. He must prove his innocence. In life, the person explaining has the burden of proof. He must prove his worthiness. The average person's mistake. Someone questions your lifestyle. Why are you still single? Why do you work so much? Why don't you drink? You immediately accept the burden of proof. You start listing reasons. You try to convince them that your life is valid. You are dancing for their approval. The dark psychology. The question implies an accusation. Why don't you drink? Implies you should be drinking. By answering the question, you accept the premise. You accept that your choices are abnormal and require justification. You validate their frame. The Machiavellian countermove. Reject the burden. Flip the script. The sovereign does not prove his worth. He questions the audacity of the judge. The technique. Answer a question with a question. Or answer with a statement that rejects the premise. Them, why are you still single? The defendant, well, I haven't found the right person, and I've been busy with work. The sovereign, why are you so concerned with my private life? You have put them on trial. Them, why don't you drink? The sovereign, I don't enjoy it. Simple. Final. Them, why do you work so hard? The sovereign, because I have an empire to build. Why do you work so little? Do not accept the frame that you are the weird one. Do not accept the frame that you are the one who needs to explain. You are the standard. Let them explain why they are not measuring up to you. Law number 6, the preservation of energy. Explanation is exhausting. It drains your mental resources. It depletes your willpower. Every time you argue your case to a fool, you are wasting divine energy that could be used to build your kingdom. The average person's mistake. You spend hours composing the perfect text message to explain your feelings. You spend days mentally rehearsing arguments with people who don't matter. You pour your soul into convincing people who are committed to misunderstanding you. The dark psychology. Energy is finite. Power requires focus. If you are leaking energy in constant explanation, you have no energy left for execution. The weak man is tired because he is always talking. The strong man is fresh because he saves his breath. The Machiavellian countermove. The economy of words. Treat your words like gold coins. Do not throw them into the mud. Do not cast pearls before swine. If someone does not have the capacity to understand you, explaining is not an act of kindness. It is an act of waste. The technique. Assess the recipient. Is this person a stakeholder? Does their understanding materially affect your outcome? If the answer is no, give them nothing. If they misunderstand you, let them. If they think you are arrogant, let them. If they think you are wrong, let them. Their opinion does not pay your bills. Their understanding does not build your legacy. Save your energy for the people who matter. Save your explanations for your war council. For everyone else. Your silence is the only answer they can afford. Law number 7, the sovereign narrative. This is the final, deepest law. It is about who owns the story of your life. When you explain yourself, you are asking for co-authors. You are asking others to edit your story. You are saying, this is what I did, is that okay? Does that make sense to the plot? The average person's mistake. You live your life by committee. You poll your friends before making a move. You apologize if your story deviates from the script society handed you. You are a character in a book written by a crowd. The dark psychology. The crowd wants you to be average. The crowd wants you to be predictable. If you give them the pen, they will write you a tragedy. They will write you a life of safety, mediocrity, and regret. The Machiavellian countermove. Seize the pen. The sovereign writes his own history. He does not ask for editorial feedback. He publishes the deed. The technique. Act. Then, let the act stand. Do not narrate your life. Live it. When you make a bold move, quit the job, start the business, end the relationship. Do not write a Facebook post explaining why. Do not call 10 friends to justify it. Just do it. Let the shockwaves ripple out. Let the rumors fly. Let them speculate. Why did he do that? Is he crazy? What is he planning? You are now the protagonist of a thriller. You are the mystery. You are the force that moves the plot. Machiavelli said, "A prince should never lack legitimate reasons to break his promise." But the true prince knows that the most legitimate reason is his own will. You do not need a doctor's note to live your life. You do not need a permission slip to be great. Your desire is the reason. Your will is the law. Your action is the explanation. Phase 4. The vision of transformation. Imagine it. Imagine a life where you never feel that knot of anxiety in your throat when you speak. Imagine a life where you never leave a conversation wishing you had said more or less. You walk into a room. You are silent, but your presence screams. You make a decision. You state it. This is what we are doing. And people move. They don't ask why. They trust the weight of your certainty. You set a boundary. No. And people respect it. They don't push. They feel the steel in your voice. You are no longer the defendant. You are no longer sweating on the witness stand, trying to prove you are a good person. You are the judge, high up on the bench, calm, robed in power, watching the world below you with a detached, sovereign gaze. You have stopped leaking power. You have become a reservoir of authority. You are mysterious. You are formidable. You are free. Most people will never reach this state. They are addicted to the noise of their own justifications. They are trapped in the prison of other people's approval. They will live and die as defendants, begging for a verdict of not guilty from a jury of fools. But you have heard the code. You have seen the key. You are ready to leave the courtroom. The question is, do you have the courage to be silent? Do you have the strength to be misunderstood? Do you have the will to be sovereign? Phase 5. The final decree. Your words are your soldiers. Do not send them out to die in unnecessary battles. Keep them inside the fortress. Gather them. And when you release them, make sure they conquer. Explanation is the death of authority. Silence is the birth of power. If this video has unlocked a shackle in your mind, if you are ready to stop begging and start ruling, then prove it. Smash that like button. It is a silent action. It needs no explanation. Share this with a friend who talks too much and commands too little. Save them from themselves. And subscribe to this channel. Join the few who understand the language of power. Now, leave your final decree in the comments. Do not explain why you are writing it. Just write it. My actions are my only explanation. Remember, the king speaks once. The beggar speaks forever. Be the king.